Okay, this is to the commenter Aaron on my discussions with theosophers. I can see you reacting a little bit, as if, okay, I've been mean to theosophers. You're defending him a little bit on that level. I mean, regarding all of the philosophical issues, I think we can discuss that. I think, for example, this video he's made about the term artifice, is very good because I find it's very important to be able to talk about what's natural and unnatural, say, in environmental policy. Okay, it has a specific meaning that's separate from things really being technically beyond nature. Okay, beyond human nature, or beyond nature as taken if we subtract human now. Okay, we can make discussions about that. Qualifications of nature, because there's subsets of nature. But when we make no qualifying, we just talk about all nature, it's important to know that includes logic and things that humans create. Okay. But on this question of being nice or not, listen, first of all, sometimes I get emotional about these things, and it's not manufactured, it's natural, it's not like I choose, but I do think before I let myself express such emotion online. But I allow myself to do it because I think it's important. I think in that video I express something important to me. A frustration I feel when people are telling me about the every. I would like you to answer my metaphor about everything. That I say, well, there's everything, and somebody wants to say, well, there's super everything, the stuff beyond everything. And it exists, but no, it doesn't exist because by definition it wouldn't exist. If it existed, it'd be part of a thing. I mean, that's the logic we're going through here. Okay? Okay, now somebody wants to say, if you study law, hey, if you study philosophy, you don't just end up with what they say in Encyclopedia Britannica. You know about the controversy. You know about the real argument going on. And maybe more, maybe less about the answer. But in terms of personal thing, because they do try to be quite civil and stuff, but I believe, uh, my standards are not something I'm absolutely above in a lot of cases. A lot of things that sometimes fall below my standards, sometimes don't. Okay, some things, no matter what, I will not do them myself. But getting a little emotional or partaking in a little bit of drama, I will do that if I think it's more a matter of why I do that. I don't want to do that for something totally stupid, but this is an important issue philosophically. And two, you got to be able to take what you can give. Theosophers came in and said, if I knew metaphysics, I would. If I studied philosophy, I would know. Of course, metaphysics is a real thing, and I'm just totally wrong. I've obviously never studied this. Okay, now you're going that I'm acting real well studied. No, actually, I act kind of just sort of sloppy. My hair is, I don't come across, I'm heavy studied, and you, and there's reason for that, because I think that's a bullshit way to come across, okay? Which is another reason it sort of pisses me off. Somebody says, if you ever studied philosophy, I got to go, well, I have. But what about the people that haven't? They might have the same idea or presenting the same idea as me. They can't say that, so it bugs me. And yet it's the quickest thing to say is like, oh, yeah, well, you're wrong. I've been studied, so try again. And then it turns out he hasn't studied philosophy. What a surprise. What a surprise. The less studied people are much more common to say, you need more study. It's very rare somebody really well studied says, well, the problem with this is you haven't studied enough, because they know the more they study, the more controversial ideas become. Even the ideas that at the surface level, for somebody who isn't really looking at it, has heard about the results of thousands of years of philosophy, think, oh, well, they answered this. No, but in philosophy, it's still controversial. In a way, philosophy is the thing, the subject where all subjects stay controversial. But there's progress in the way we ask the questions about them. So I don't think I'm being mean to him. I do think that I didn't eggshell step around his feelings. He didn't do that around me. If somebody engages that way, then they're opening the engagement to that. We can always adjust it to some other way. He's a very civil person in general. I'm very civil. But I can get emotional about an issue like that when people are saying the same thing over and over to me. You right now are saying that I am If you're going to say these things correspond to the world, then it doesn't matter. You can't hide behind perception. I can, because the difference is that I'm not saying, oh, we have perceptions and they're about this external world. See, that comes from metaphysics. It's like, what is the world? And you come up with this unjustified, metaphysical, doesn't have to be reasons from the physical world, idea. And then you argue that perceptions point to that. I don't do that. My idea of the world is based on perceptions. So, of course, it's related to perceptions because it's like, it's based on them. I take all the perceptions, that's how I define the real world. I don't believe in coming up with a metaphysical idea of the real world and then say, do we have a bridge to that? There's no gap for me to jump because I'm not starting on the other side. I'm not saying I'm over there and how come I'm here and there's the real knowledge I need to have, but I have it and how did I get over there? You're here on this side of that cliff, you know? So I don't believe there is a pre-existing definition of world to correspond to. The correspondence in truth is between our abstract statements and their coherence with our perceptions. That's all internal. Our coherence with our perceptions into the real world, that's separate. That's separate, and it comes along at a different level of epistemology, okay? Okay, the first criteria of knowledge is, does this idea fit with my perceptions? If you are insane and you see your dead grandmother sitting with you every day, then your theory of reality is going to involve that your dead grandmother sits there, because that's a consistent perception. You want to go beyond that and see, well, maybe I'm crazy. You're going to need something to measure against. You're going to need an idea that dead people can't talk to you. Okay, where are you going to get that? Probably from interaction with other people. We're related to other people. We have familial relationships. A lot of these relationships are very strong. We don't judge or arbitrarily decide whether to have them. We're automatically grown up into a situation interacting with these other people. So you tell them and you try to share your perceptions with each other, and you start to get this subset where you can say, wait, I have a consistent perception and I still won't believe it. Why? Because this super consistency, trust of other people's relation of their perceptions. Okay, and that's a higher level than, what is the very nature of reality. Okay. Now, the the issue here is, can we relate our perceptions to this a priori idea of an external world? No, we can't. But can we not create that idea of a world? Let our perceptions collect up and have an idea of, say, well, here's what our perceptions are like. Then what would we call that? The world, or the perceptual world, or the sensual world, or sensibilization, or whatever we call it, is created from the perceptions. So yes, it relates to the perceptions. But you still haven't proved the perceptions relate to this external model of the world. No, and I never plan to. I'm happy to say the perceptions relate to these abstractions. Why? Because that works. Because then I can use my abstractions and make predictions about the kind of perceptions I'll get. I can use my abstraction and know that if I hold this up and let go, it's going to drop. If I let go of this, I'm going to perceive this dropping and hitting, and there'll even be a sound that I'll recognize. Okay. It's all about perceptions. It doesn't matter. Is this in the real world? Is it a dream? Am I in the matrix? My perceptions are predictable. I have a relationship to my perceptions. Whether those perceptions relate to some metaphysical external world, who knows? And I'm sure you'll never demonstrate that connection. But if you model how the perceptions work, that can apply. If they stop being consistent at some point, fine, I can't prove they'll be consistent in the future. All I can do is keep trying to abstract concepts out, like a concept of continuity, and apply it. And if it works, it works. Okay, so you can never be absolutely certain, but you don't need to be. You need to be absolutely certain of some external metaphysical reality you're certain. But you don't have to be absolutely certain that your models are going to apply for them to apply partially and consistently and productively. I don't intend to be mean to theosophers. You're going to have to watch his comments to me too, to see what I'm reacting to and listen to the whole thing, I think, to be fair, if you want to discuss this very interesting subject. All right, thank you for your time.